So I'm gonna give people a minute to get in. One of the OGs, we about to chop it up on some tribal conversation over here. And I'm gonna do is send out some invites while I'm waiting. And hopefully that'll get his attention. Just a little tribal talk, people. Just a little talking about what we're seeing on the land, how we, can see each other across distance, right? So let me see if the brother in here. Yes, sir. What's up, God?
Peace, brother, peace.
Tell the people what you want to be called and where you calling from.
I'm calling from the territorial Seattle, Washington. Brother,
For
bail me,
sure.
Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the little job site right now, man. But little jobs, kick back, little easy stuff. We come up in here and just show up and get the little
Yeah, look
develop.
like you're doing some construction.
Yeah, I work on these on the shipyard and shit. We repair these vessels, the Navy vessels and the Coast Guard vessels and
Mm-hmm.
the commercial boats and shit, the fisher boats.
Let me ask you this. Did they start opening docks back up for shipping containers, or are they still out there on the water?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that goes because that's them those longshoremen guys. You know, the longshoremen do that type of
Mm.
stuff. You know, that's them guys that's down like on the docks or whatever, like the real docks. This where I'm at is considered like a dry dock, if you will.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
y'all for repairs only.
Yeah, we repairs. Like if you see this, the dry dock right here, like this gate go down and the water comes in, we let it down and the water come in, fill all the way up to the brown board, and that's how we let the ship in, and then it drains back out so we can go, back on the dry dock to do what we got to do or whatever. But
For sure, for sure. We was chopping it up in Messenger,
yeah,
and you was asking me about Tookie and a little bit about Raymond, and I was telling you about the how it worked on the culture.
right.
Yeah. So I just titled this video "Tribal Talk" because this, the questions that you was answering is relevant because it help us see how we see the Chiefs.
Right.
How can I see from Michigan the Chief all the way in Los Angeles?
Right. Yeah. See, and the reason
You
why I
know,
was like asking, because I'm always seeing like a lot of videos, and people be talking about when they talk about the gang culture or whatnot. They always say they like to say, "Oh, well, Raymond Washington was the founder of the Crips, or Tookie was the founder, and all that." But none of that stuff is true. Like it's not true at all. So that's why I was wondering, like, well, how is it Tookie? Because like I was speaking to my mom's uncle, who was his name was Michael Tobin, Fast Black. He used to be Miss Onassis, Jackie Onassis' private bodyguard back in the day. He was a part of the long table when Johnny Cochran was their attorney back then. When the Crips first founded, the Community Revolution in Progress, he was one of the
yes,
original East
sir.
Side boys.
Yeah,
And he came up under Rosie Greer, because Rosie Greer is pretty much like an uncle. That's like we call him uncle or whatever. The retired
hmm
Hall of Famer for the Rams. That's,
yeah,
that's that's like family. He like took my uncle under his wing back in the day when he was a young boy and got him hired with working with that government stuff with the Kennedys back then. So
So this is how we used to do it. You get a bunch of boys together. I'm gonna pick a couple of them. She gonna pick a couple. He gonna pick a couple. I'm the chief. I'm saying these two gonna win,
right,
right? And there's different chiefs that got their picks, right?
right,
The Priest Lodge is the Panther Lodge. Gotta remember that. That's important for the Community Revolution in Progress.
Mhm.
Okay, and the Red Lodge is the motherland, right? And Black and Gold is Big Mama house.
Right. I've heard you say that before.
So now this is flipping the colors, right? So the Crips colors is the blue. That's Blue Lodge. That's the Blue family. That's Big Papa house.
Mhm.
All right now. So we got Mama house, the Red Lodge. We got Big Papa house, the Blue Lodge, and we got Big Mama house, the Black and Gold, right?
Right.
But when you coming from different parts of the lane, your colors can be variants, right?
Mhm.
So one of the girls might have been the favorite of Big Mama, and she might have been the favorite of Mama.
Mhm.
So she won't use the yellow, and she won't or the gold, and she won't use the red. She'll use orange.
Right.
That means she was picked by women on two sides of the family, you know. So this is how we seeing who the empresses versus the queens versus the priestesses versus the princesses,
Right.
right? The colors that they fall under, if they all, like for instance, the sisters that fall under the red,
Mhm.
right? That's mama girls. And the sisters that fall under the blue, them daddy's girls,
Mm.
right? And now they all got certain characteristics that make them stand out and tribe up. Now Tukey and Raymond, not a clan yet, right? So when community revolution and progress, when the Crips was formed, right, they coming out of the Black Panthers.
Yep.
The Black Panthers is paramilitary branch or top military branch is called Black Guerrilla Family. The Black Guerrilla Family is Big Papa House, Blue Lodge, coming off the Gorilla Knock.
Mm.
Gorilla knocking is when them boys stand there, go toe to toe, and establish motherfucker who get the most love, most respect off these hands getting thrown.
Mm.
And then we start tribing up. So your uncle might have been the founder from taking the structure from the Panthers, right, and teaching it to Tukey and teaching it to Raymond Washington. But Tukey the one was throwing the hands. Raymond was throwing hands too, but him and Tukey, you know, they immediately like, man, this is my guy right here when they met each other.
Yeah. He got a couple brothers too. They don't ever talk about Tookie's brothers neither. He got Berta Swan. Berta Swan. Fuck, I can't think of other two. They you know I'm a young buck compared to them guys. They like my mom and them age and all that. But
Mm-hmm. Yep. So now, in order for Tukey to get to the status of chief, he got to be the number one guy from the time he get locked up to now
right.
with them hands. Now, it might have been some dudes that came after him that had hands, but they probably didn't hold the same level of respect that Tukey commanded when he walked in the room,
Agree.
right? So you can't overcome the most loved, most respected aspect.
Mm-hmm.
His clan is the biggest clan on the West Coast. Even though it's fractured into smaller clans, it's still, the Crips is still the biggest clan. And then the Bloods the second biggest clan.
Right.
Right? And then when we go to the third, we talking about like the Vatos, the Latin cliques. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Like the Latinos.
what'd you say?
You said the Latinos, as far as like the Mexicans.
Right. Now, When we go back and we look in the hieroglyphs in Mexico, we see them, but we also see us. We didn't have none of this shit over here. Racism, we had none of that over here before 1492.
Right.
Everything bitter, sour, and fucked up over here right now wasn't here before 1492. The way that we handle each other, we knew how to handle each other because we was family. And now you got some people that came that didn't give a fuck about our family ties, pretended to be family and stabbed us in the back.
Right. Like
Then they tricked us with wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
When they tricked us with the wordplay, it was a done deal. That's what fucked us. But we still can read through their culture. We can see our culture through their culture, because it ain't the same.
So a lot of this stuff is like still some of the same what's going on. Where I say the COINTELPRO stuff that's taking place as we speak. Like a lot of if you're not familiar with all the violence that's going on back at home on the streets of LA right now, like it's been like multiple.
No, that's organized, dog.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Yeah, it's organized. That's what I'm saying. I believe.
But it ain't organized by the ops this time. That's organized by us. Look at who they going. All of them smash and grabs. That shit organized.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't. If you don't read the culture, you won't never know. The OGs got that shit well orchestrated and under control.
Deep.
They hitting them in the pockets. That's all they trying to do. They ain't trying to hurt nobody. But if they hurt somebody that's trying to resist, oh well, we gotta hit them in the pockets. That's what they doing. The OGs saying hit them in the pockets. Everywhere, everything is about hitting them in the pockets. Go back and look at it again with this fresh lens in that everything is to hit the enemy in the pocket.
Well, that's, and then when you look at you saying like you saying when they doing all them robberies down in them high end areas or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you've been having a lot of shootings though that's been like military style. Like, you know, it ain't been all my life been down there growing up in LA. I've never seen it to where like the way it is today. Like you'll have multiple shootings in one day, and these shootings are happening in broad daylight. Like, you know, they're not waiting until nighttime no more. And it's like they're doing it on at higher rates to where there's more manpower. It's not enough manpower for them to cover all the crime scenes, if you will. So it's almost like an orchestration, if you will. Remind me of that movie, Joy Road. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Joy Road with the brother from Above the Rim. He's playing an attorney in that movie, and there was a scene in that movie where the European man in the end, he came to the dudes, and there was like some regular like gang member type looking guys, like regular thug guys, and they were hired hands by the government, so they'll send them to different neighborhoods that they want to take out, and they'll go over to start trouble and, you know, go after the chief, set up shop, just do things that'll cause turmoil in the neighborhood. So they was telling the guy toward the end of the movie, he's like, yeah, we got the call from the president. He's like, where we going? He's like, we're going to Detroit. He's like, back to Detroit? He was like, yeah. He's like, all right. So, and that right there is just like, man, that's probably what they be doing today. Like, they got these hit teams because there's never no suspects. All these people get murdered.
They've been doing that. They've been doing that. Right? All you gotta do when you study in the story of BMF, Big Meech in Detroit.
Right.
They got a dude in Detroit, I can't remember his name right now. He was a notorious hitman in the street. This nigga can't stay in jail longer than a day or two.
Man.
He getting arrested for all these murders, but he ain't getting charged with nothing. Right? Because he was working for the government. He was a government hitman. They use assassins out of our community, or they send a motherfucker in that look like us because they can't come in our community and indiscriminately murder us. Because then we'll know who the enemy is. Right? So they got to make it look like one of us is doing it, so we'll keep fighting each other and never see the enemy. Remember after the riots in '91, them LA cops, that was dressing up like gangbangers to make the blood start back shooting at the crib.
Yeah, that was '92. Yeah, I can recall that very well. I was living in Compton at the time of those riots. I was living on Indigo. Yeah, I remember the first day. Yeah, that's just what happened. When the peace treaty came together, they went and stole one of the. They was taking cars and doing drive-bys and rival on other members who were like basically calling it the peace treaty just to cause friction or whatever. See, this is another thing that nobody's talking about, even with the LAPD and the sheriff department. It just came out. Like, I'm a reader. I like to read, so I like to read the stories or whatever. And I was just reading the story, something that I had been knowing what was going on, but they just pretty much confessed that the sheriff's department and the LAPD have current and former gang members that they go around killing people and they give out awards. This was just in an article from 3 weeks ago. They're called the Executioners and the Bandidos. Back in 2005. In Compton, I was in Compton, and I believe that's who hit us. We got these people came and fired like over 300 rounds at us, man. Killed my granddaddy, killed my stepdad, shot my little brother in the back, and killed my granddad's best friend. And these guys, like, it's almost like they reloaded and just kept shooting. And the whole time, we right down the street from the Compton police station, and not one police turned on their sirens and came to the scene. So that right there just told me, like, man, the police was involved in this shit. When they took us to the police station, they locked us inside the damn precinct with handcuffs on the door. Like,
okay, so a couple things in relationship to what you said. Don't forget Rampart.
Right.
Now, in Chicago, they had some called the Jump Out Boys. Gang task force. Had 21 Jump Street that came after them, which was a bunch of police that looked like teenagers, but they was the police. They was on the force, and they was getting them from all over the country. And in Detroit, they had what they called the Crash Unit. Yeah, and they was targeting the Flynn's and the BKs in Detroit. Right? And then the Flynn's and the BKs got absorbed over time into other little factions, right? But they always kept gang task force, and anytime it wasn't gang violence, if the gang started, because we on the street, we know you can't go to war and make money at the same time. We all know this. There ain't nobody hustling on the streets that don't know you can't go to war and make money. So you have to make your money. And if you got to go to war, you got to put everything on hold till the war is over. Because you're going to lose in the midst of the war trying to fight the war and make the money. So you're either going to lose the war or you're going to lose the money. That's just basic street knowledge, 101. For anybody that's an OG should know that. All right, so if we know this, why in the fuck would we keep starting wars with people? Right? It doesn't make sense. Right? Now, every time we go to war with somebody, it be over something foolish. It doesn't make sense. Whatever we fighting over don't make sense. We fighting over a city block. Right? Why in the fuck is we fighting over a city block when it's all that territory out in the open country?
Yeah, senseless.
Right. So while you fighting over a city block, well, tell me how to fight for the world. I want the whole block. I want the whole globe. You know what I'm saying? How do I fight for that motherfucker? Fuck a city block. Now you're starting to change your perception from hood rat view, because a hood rat can't see over a motherfucker's shoe. Right? Now you start seeing from a bird's eye view the whole bigger picture. Right? So we already know there's something going on in our community because we're not handling conflicts very well right now. We agitate too easy. We blow up too bad. When we do blow up, we tear up too much shit. We out of control. We forced in power with no direction. Somebody is on the land interrupting something. We better find these motherfuckers.
Fast, huh?
Because the culture betrays them. We gonna always have our culture hardwired into who we is. So those with the feathers, even if we put on anything else, we gonna still be drawn to feather-related mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're gonna always be drawn back to what's ours, because the shit that ain't, it doesn't hold our interest the same.
Mm. Mm. And so when you were saying when we was talking in the messenger, and you were saying about the intermixture with those $5 people, it's crazy to me how the people that's running everything over there, that's just what it's like them people like European. They look like they European. It's like a lot of Peleos that run them tribes
Look,
down
those they're not even European. They're Mongolian, Han, and Hindu.
there. Mm.
They're a mixture, because that's who Rome was putting in servitude. They brought them over here with them. They had to do something with them motherfuckers. So they figured they'd pass them off as us to sign the treaties.
Mm.
So on the Trail of Tears, while the soldiers was returning from the Seminole Wars because the Spanish Armada retreated.
Right.
So now we going home. On our way home, they marching these motherfuckers right alongside us, right? While we going back to see our grandmama we ain't seen, some of us our wife and children we ain't seen because we've been in bloodthirsty warfare. While we on our way home, they bring these, come on, bring them on through. Now they walking next to us. They telling us that these tribes is because they got customs similar to ours. Right? The TP is they shit. That's not our shit. Right. We made little tents, but our tents didn't look like their tents. They teepees that they show on TV, that's from the plainsmen of Asia. But the ones where you see where you will see that we built different type of structures. Log cabins is native over here.
Mm.
Right? When we took tents on hiking trips, the same as we would take a tent now. We had metropolises we lived in, or if we lived in the country, we lived in country towns. Everybody was fucking related in the country town. So you couldn't do nothing wrong to nobody because everybody know who it is that's doing the wrong.
That's the term it takes a village to raise a child, huh? Because everybody was pretty much tightly knitted. Yeah, so when I heard you speaking on that too, about like when you were saying the other people that was looking like us, that's when I made the comment the other day, because I was like, damn, that's deep, because that sound like how when you go into the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and you're reading it, how the Sultan was telling the other Moors, hey, when you see them European ships coming through with them, even if they got Africans on there, leave them alone. Let them go on and pass through. Because was that like basically because them were some of the people that looked like us but wasn't us?
The Sultan was one of them. Look, all that shit is fictitious. The backstory to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, that was the first contract that the Scottish Rite Lodge of Freemasons with the Fezzes signed with the $5 Indians and passed it off as our contract. That shit didn't have nothing to do with us. That was the Crown of England signing a business arrangement with a corporation called Al Murak. Al Murak was a British Crown-owned corporation, right? And their role was to enforce admiralty law on the high seas.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got under the jurisdiction of what they call Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Because they was the enforcers of the Queen's judgment on the high seas. But we get mad if we haven't got to this part of the study yet, and we took some kind of side in the information, then we can't never see this part coming until it smashes us in the face like an old pie.
Right. Well, Drew Ali did say, I can't tell you everything because you fall back to sleep. The half ain't even
Yeah.
told is what he said. The half ain't even told. So, you know, it makes a ton of sense. That's for damn sure.
Hey, when you read in the oral statements, he talk worse about Moors than he do about other settlers. He told him, man, none of you motherfucking Moors gonna make it. Except,
Yeah.
how many of y'all gonna make it? I can count on one hand.
Yeah. Yep.
Why did he say that? Listen to what he's saying. Why would he say that? Who is he trying to tell something? Who gonna get the message? Right?
Right.
Now, how you start a civics organization and it turned into a religious organization? You went from studying law to studying dogma. That's called usurpation. Somebody undermining something. But you won't never know what they undermining because you're so busy taking sides. You don't even know if you playing on the right side or the wrong side. You playing the game recklessly.
Yeah.
Without the rules. You're not playing the game with the rules. You're playing the game without the rules. So instead of trying to find a rule first so you can know how to play the game, you start taking sides with motherfuckers, hoping that they get the rules right.
Wait.
Yeah. So the culture tells who the chiefs is. The rule is the largest clans cover the greatest area. That's the basic rule. Now, Angel Bay and Larry Hoover is Mississippians. They both came from Mississippi, first generation to Chicago. I'm second generation, born in Chicago. My father, first generation migrant to Chicago, and my mother, and me and my siblings was born in Chicago, first generation Chicago born Mississippian. Then we end up moving to Detroit. We moved from Mecca to Medina. You see the story? And Jerusalem to us is the Far East. But we call it the Northeastern States. Or the New England states. Now, if you want to break down why they call them New England states, because the old England is in Europe. And if they come in to set up and establish a new world, everything over here got to be the new because that's the old. And Columbus was sent to sail to the new world, right? Right, so they coming to challenge us to take over the rest of the world because they done took over 2/3 at this point. It's 1/3 left, us. They are a family called Tudors out of Europe. In Spanish, they call conquistadors. But in English, they call it Etruscan. Their description is Moray. The description being Moray is not they classification in law. It's their description in law. You see the difference? So what else do the word Moray attach to? The word Moor. The word more is a catch term. A catch term meaning if you want to group a bunch of things together in the new language, you create a word that's similar to all of the words in their language, and then you put it as the word that they all mean. Now you done caught all of those words into one word.
Yeah, well, you talking about plugging it into the matrix, into the etymon.
This is the structure of the matrix. When you start seeing the structure of it play out in your head, it start unraveling the whole matrix in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
So what we in what we call a computer age, right? But
Yeah.
our ways are called ancient. That means they always been here the way we are. So however we are, it's gonna be different than how we perceived, right? Because they need to control the narrative of how to perceive yourself. If they can control the narrative, they can lead you wherever they want you to go.
That's true.
It's just like a dance, you know? The one who
Mm-hmm.
know the steps supposed to lead. You dig? The ones who don't know the step supposed to take the following position. But the problem now is a whole bunch of motherfuckers that don't know the steps to the dance want to lead. So all the ones that do know the steps are sitting on the sideline looking at the no dancing motherfuckers trip over each other's feet.
Damn clown show.
Yeah. I just told Uncle on the other channel, I say, we don't play with the clowns when we go to the circus. We sit back and watch them. They for entertainment purposes only.
Mm.
So when the clowns jump up and you know they ain't on your level, you can't go play with the clowns. Just watch the fucking circus.
Right.
Right? Fuck around and get some clown paint on your ass. Fucking with a clown.
Mm-hmm. For real.
We got so good. We didn't even infiltrated the clown club and got hyphy with it.
Hyphy. I saw they
So,
love clowning and dancing, huh? That's what we done turned into, a damn super that's what I
listen,
was just telling somebody. All they gotta do, we go to war, just turn some music on. These motherfuckers gonna start twerking.
hey, look, the motherfuckers that be wearing that clown makeup out the bay,
Yeah.
they got a club in Detroit. They call them juggalos, right?
Uh-huh.
Out there in the bay, they listen to the local music, right?
Uh-huh.
The Juggalos is an insane clown posse local uh influence. The clown club. They creating the whole clown club by expressing their art. And
Hmm.
now it pop up on two coasts that they stand up as mirrors to reflect off each other.
Hmm. Hey, I heard you when you was talking about yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, you was talking about did you say the indigenous? You was saying something about the different act of the new contract. Can you elaborate on that? What you was speaking on the other day, as far as when you was saying we ain't under the they about the, because it made a lot of sense when you was talking about the you didn't say it wasn't the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, but you was speaking about something that they trying to move, basically doing in if you will, in their form of policies, if you will.
That's what it was, the Indigenous Rights Act, where they
Yeah,
had
is that
gave us
the
back
drip?
all of the power.
The drip, you talking about the drip that Obama signed?
Um, I don't know who signed it. It's No, Trump signed it, I believe it was 2017.
Now, Obama signed the DRIP back in 2009 too. He signed the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People back then. Because I didn't use that document and then, went into these. I didn't have issues, and because I stopped all that. First got into the information, got rid of the license and all that old stuff, and I didn't have my battles with these people out here, and then I didn't took that into their little court, to their little administration buildings, and got my cases thrown right on out of there. Just basically using this Article 1 and 15 and different things that's showing, just proving with their own records that, the driver's license is a commercial document only, for commercial use only under subsection 33301. That's what it says. So if you're not doing any form of commerce, then you got the right to travel. So, a lot of people don't believe that, but I mean, that's just a fact. And it's all, like you say, it's legalese. It's all in the language. They try to pick you up with words. So if you don't use jurisdiction is right words. That's what juris is, words. Addiction is words, and juris is right. So
yeah, that's why they tell you about color of law. Like color of law.
Yeah. Color. Yeah. See, but that's the thing too. Like there's nobody to enforce that section. You got Title 18, subsection 242, 241, the color of law. Like there's nobody to enforce that. Like nobody. Like,
right. Because the people that you complaining to,
is them,
look,
right?
Yeah, the people you complaining to about somebody acting as a de facto color of law agent is a de facto color of law agent. That's why we got to go back to our own ways. Right? So we can't use their system to kick them off the land. But we can use Big Mama's system, her Jubilee system. Right? Where she sent one of the chiefs to go confront the threat face to face, head on. In this case, it's an intellectual battle for the man. So she sent me. Right? Look, the thing is, even if I say something that's not correct, fundamentally, it's always a receipt to something else I said. Right? But you sometimes got to flip that shit.
Right.
Because that's where they scrambled the matrix at. When they scrambled the words. BDP6, BDP6, all the same. BDP6, 9, they all the same. They are the same, just variations, different angles, depending on how you look at it, and it's going to determine what you see. BDP 69. That's 3 letters, 2 numbers. That's 32. That's a Magic Johnson flip.
32, that's 5. 3 and 2 is 5.
Yep, on the turnaround, the 23 is Michael Jordan in Chicago. Right? So that's a connection. But where you say you at Portland?
Now I'm in Seattle, but I'm from LA though. I'm from Los Angeles originally, but I've been living up,
right,
domiciling near the Seattle territory.
So that's an LA flip. Look, we ain't talking now. Code flipping. Right? Because when you establish your LA connection, but you currently in where?
Seattle.
Seattle, Washington, right? That's the furthest point on this side of the Canadian border of the United States without crossing over to go to Canada.
Absolutely.
I mean to Alaska.
Yeah, this is the last metropolitan city.
Yep. Now, that's a Rasheed Wallace flip. Right? On the I-10. I-10 is the known guy. That's his tattoo, and it's a tattoo flip. And Rasheed got traded from Portland
to Detroit.
Wait a minute. Portland is in Oregon. Right. So the Portland, that's Newport, West Virginia, on the mirror flip. They broke the word in half. That's called a broken key. Okay, so we went from Newport, Virginia, And now we got to go from Seattle, Washington, Seahawk. That's a Popeye flip, but Seahag, right? And Popeye is the right eye because the right eye controlled by the left brain. The left brain is the logical brain, right? And the linear logic is the mathematical formula, right? So Rasheed Wallace got traded to Detroit, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing with Ben Wallace,
Yep.
right? That's called a bobblehead flip. The bobblehead flip off Black Girl Magic because that's how she wanted to whip her hair back and forth. That's a Willow flip. Willow is a wrestling character, Jeff Hardy. But it's also the name of Will Smith's daughter.
And also the Little Wizard. There was a movie when I was a kid. Willow. Who's the memory? Willow, the Little Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this one we be flipping the codes. Right. So Willow is daddy's girl, but she really a mama's girl. So that means she's a royal princess, blessed on two sides. And the royal princess flips out Black Girl Magic over here, and she flip out two sides. That means that she can see both sides of the family tree in order to not take sides in their bullshit. That means wherever she see the tribes at, she know how to behave in the midst of the tribes, to not make the tribes want to give her the love and respect, to not act like an asshole. Right? So that takes me to Oxford. And Oxford is Ox Babe, the blue ox on the Axeman. And the Axeman is the X-Man. But the Axeman, or the man that carried the axe, was Paul Bunyan, which is a tall bunny on a homonym flip. And the tall bunny is a kangaroo from down under. That's a Hellboy flip. And Hellboy came back to destroy the dirt. So they had to get one that could get just as dirty as the motherfuckers that came here to do the dirt in order to get the dirt solved. That means that he can flip both sides of the coin. He's well balanced. And if he can flip both sides of the coin, that means that he can flip both sides of the family. That means he be a G sitting on top of the family tree. And G is the seventh letter made. And 7 is in the middle of the circle. But the circle is the sun. At least that's what the 5%ers say. But you can't have the sun without man, woman, and child. Peace to the God, Kalai. Man, woman, and child, one love.
Yeah, Kalai be breaking it down. He be busting. Sun blood energy. They be hating on that brother. I like the other little brother, the young brother too, Rashad Jamal too. He pretty deep too. He pretty deep.
Yeah.
I was just saying he got a nice little rap because I was tripping off how when I was growing up, we had what you call the jukebox in L.A. back in Compton. You could put in the number that you want to watch on the video, and even before then, in the 80s, like, it was a balance in between. You had the choice. Remember, you had Queen Latifah. She was a positive rapper. You had X Clan. These videos would come on BET. So you had all this conscious music they was promoting that stuff, and then here come NWA. NWA was on the rise, and then it was almost like they used that to trick everybody and get rid of all the conscious elevating music and had everybody to just focus on what they got now. Like today, there's no genre. There's no new R&B singers. Who sing? Who's the new R&B singers? It's like all this shit is the same today. Like it's crazy.
Hey, look, it wouldn't be nothing wrong with it all being the same if it was all still good. But it's the same, and it's all the same amount of fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. We got some dope positive rappers out there too that be promoting that positive energy, like a sister Sarat, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Sayla Neveru. It's a few of them queens out there that's dope. They dope on that mic, but they don't get no recognition like that as far as that go. I like the brother Donnie Arcade. He be busting. Donnie Arcade be speaking about the Anunnaki and all that other stuff. You know, those intellectuals.
I grew up on all that, man. We listen to the whole range, the full spectrum of rap.
Right.
And that's how we know when the mumble rappers is mumbling, that's because they can't say what they want to say. The
Yeah,
industry trying to shut them, silence them. So they saying shit that you can't make out what they saying because they can't say what they want to say.
shit, if I'd have known that it was gonna be like this, I'd have went to the studio when my uncle was trying to take me back in the day. I'm like, man, I can't rap. He like, man, come on and get on this damn, come to the studio and say whatever. Cause my uncle one of the it's Coolio. I know you know who Coolio is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my dude.
Yep. Coolio with the flow. Yeah, I could have been a rapper if I would have had a little, just known it was gonna be like this to say anything. Come on here and just start mumbling. Oh, okay, and just sing a little bit. Yeah, I could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Looking at them, seeing them comments, what they were saying in the comments.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see how long we've been on here.
Yeah, my night almost over. It's almost time for me to get off. Had another smooth day.
Mm-hmm. That's always good when nobody want to go to chaos.
Oh yeah, nice smooth around here, man. Especially on this swing shift, man. We just get enough done to get the job done, and then it's just smooth sailing from after there.
Mm-hmm. But that's word on the land.
So yeah, so back to the before we close out to clarify on the tribal thing. So with the whole the brothers Ford, Tookie, and Larry Hoover. So do you so I remember you were saying that you said that they froze Tookie. You know they didn't kill him.
They put him in cryostasis.
And you know that was my uncles and them tell me that back in the day they said Tookie and Arnold Schwarzenegger they used to work out with them guys, right? My pops was one of them buff
He
dudes too.
signed the order.
They used to all work out together. Nah, Tookie beat him in a weightlifting competition. So that
Yeah.
they said basically that was personal because Arnold could have saved him, man. Arnold could have saved the brother and could have let him hit the
Listen,
streets.
Arnold the one signed for him to be frozen. He was supposed to do that because that's what Tukey asked him to do. Because
Yeah.
he didn't want to compromise the position Arnold had gained. Arnold had to get the rub from Tukey in order to traverse the land in Cali. That's what that
Mm.
shit was all about. The weightlifting competition, the pose down, all that shit.
Yeah. Look at
Because
the
Arnold came to Big Tukey and asked him if he can get a seat at the table. Tukey told him to take his seat.
the
Go
the,
take it, nigga.
the Swarty nigger, Arnold Swarty nigger, the
Right.
black nigger.
We call him a vanilla gorilla.
Yeah. Huh. Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah, they the ones that's loyal to Big Mama.
Mm.
So hey, when she send her boys out, we can read each other. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know what a swarthy nigga is?
Swarthy is like dark, black.
Yeah. But he was a byproduct of the Hitler breeding program.
Mm. Yeah, he looked like a
That's
goddamn
why.
clone. Like he'd be a clone with his. Everybody's
But he wasn't.
on.
Look, he wasn't a clone. He was a steroid baby.
Yeah.
During the growth cycle of the fetus, and I think the second trimester, when the limbs grow, they give them a certain hormone, right? And the hormones is designed to affect the physical development, right? This is why they study that body chart, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph,
Mm.
right? Because they know what the chemicals do for the babies. When they was doing, they was trying to manipulate the genes by using the steroids at certain times of gestation. They wasn't using the full technology because they hadn't reestablished it yet.
Mm.
Right? He ain't the only one. You remember Dolph Lundgren played Drago in Rocky?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you tell most of them because they got like a African American type swag. That's come from them having the blood from us. Remember, they said it only take one drop of blood
Right.
to influence the genetics. So you can tell that they're not the same because the physiology has been altered by the altering of the genetics by the one drop rule.
Mm.
Right? But in the meantime, because they using that to keep us from knowing, now we can learn how to use it to our advantage.
Mm. One question. So, do you think that? What do you think about the whole? Because I see the hashtag Free Larry Hoover, man. Like, I'm just concerned, like curious, like how come that didn't pick up more steam, being that it's 2022? Like, why is the brother still down like that, man? Like, it has
Because
to
the
be a
people
bigger
didn't know
reason.
how to read the culture. They didn't know how to read the culture to establish their real leadership
Mm-hmm.
from the imposters' puppets that they gave us to mislead us.
Mm.
So we wasn't fighting for him because we was all watching the puppet show, right? So it's like we watching the movie and it's a dude in there raping a chick, but don't nobody want to stop watching the movie long enough to beat his ass.
Mm.
I ain't see nothing. Turn the other cheek. And swear up and down, we ain't no turn the other cheek ass niggas,
Right.
right? But we want to smoke, but only with each other. You know why? Because ain't nobody else competition to us but us,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we gonna nut up, we want competition. We want the equal and equivalent pushback. But that's also how you remain balanced. That's how you stay strong and balanced. Now, if you can control it and keep it from being reckless and destructive and producing death,
Mm-hmm.
you can use it to build, align, and restore the future.
Mm.
Right? Because you know how the energy works. This is why you got simulated combat like pro wrestling, but you also have actual combat release like UFC, where you can vicariously live through the fighter in the ring
Mm-hmm.
to control and release that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just like fucking. Once you get your fix, you good. You can lay there and go to sleep now. But we
Mm.
trying to tell you the shit something going wrong, stop watching that fake ass fight. Each one teach one when y'all gonna read some.
Mm. Mm-hmm. They wilding out in them comments.
Hmm. Well, I wonder if she talking about. She said that nigga wear a shower curtain around his neck, always coming in to fuck up somebody live.
Who said that?
Yeah, I already told them. They already know because I already been telling them. I say, look, when they come, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to know it's them. A group of peaceful people congregate, minding their own goddamn business,
Hmm.
and they come in trying to start shit. They feel like they should be the one getting the attention.
Yeah.
But like I said, when we're at the circus, we don't play with the clowns. We sit back and watch them, enjoy the show.
Hmm. The clown shit gonna play out after a while.
Yeah, you know, he only got a couple of skits, and then they got to bring on the marching girl.
Hmm.
So if we gonna watch the circus, ain't no sense us trying to play with the clowns. We got other acts to follow.
That's who they talking about. To they saying the ad. They want him to go. He want to go live with you.
Who is he?
I don't know. I was saying he was just saying a lot of bullshit. Like that's some of the shit. You be seeing people be trolling. Just always got something to say. They just want attention, man. A lot of people didn't. They ain't getting enough hugs when they was kids, and they got this Instagram to just say whatever they want to say. That's what people be doing.
The sister up on it right here. Watch this. I'm peeing this one. Trying to anyway. But they don't want to listen.
Oh, she said Larry already free.
But they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. Then I told you the shocker. Wes Craven. That's a raven from the West. A message from the dead. Brandon Lee. Right? That's a crow knot. But it's really a raven. That's Longfellow.
Mm.
Quote the raven, nevermore. Right? Shakespeare. Theater. A rave performance. Right? The shocker. Stan Tookie Williams. Right? Many that you presume to be dead shall be raised to life.
Mm.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
But he's talking about what the book say. I'm showing you what the book do. The book is not for you to have a religious dogma. It's to tell you a report so you can read the times using the star map and the clues in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So almost time for me to get up off this boat. I take my butt ass home.
Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm trying to see who this is trying to get in here so I know who to let in. I don't see.
Don't that person that ain't talking about nothing, man. They just trying to get on and be a disruptor. Cause I ain't seen them say nothing of substance.
Oh, you know, I'm with the shits. I want to smoke.
For sure.
I sure want to smoke. I ain't got no problem with it. Oh, bad example. I don't know that dude, but I'm gonna let him in here. I'm gonna let you go and drop out, man. I'm gonna let this guy in and see what he got to talk about.
Peace and love. Nice talking to
Peace
you.
and love.
Gone.
All right. what's up with you, youngster?
Hey, respect to you, bro. Before we even start this conversation, I want you to know I got nothing but honor for you. Okay? No matter what I might say, no matter how this may come off, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to speak with you.
All right. Now, before we get started, I'm gonna say this caveat. I don't know. I never met you. This is our first communication, so I'm just gonna let it play how it play. I'm just trying to restore the land, and part of that is I have to accept all opposition or friendlies in order to find out who is who.
See, and
Right.
that's why I got respect for you, because I like the way you talk. I like the way you talk. You talk real smooth. Okay? Real smooth. You're a real slick talker. I like that. You're trying to restore the land, and you have to accept all opposition or friendlies. Okay? That's the same thing I say when I welcome all challenges, all energies. I respect that. Okay. Now, when you say you want to restore the land, what does freeing Larry Hoover have to do with that? Why do we need to free one man just to free the lands?
Larry Hoover, it's not about freeing one man. It's about taking back our personal power as a people.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
I agree with that.
Okay, now, because of who Larry Hoover is by blood right and by the ties to the land, we demanding the chief, but we ain't just demanding Larry Hoover. When we say free Larry Hoover, it's more than Larry Hoover. We talking all political prisoners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of those who were targeted by the COINTELPRO to keep the leadership of the land from restoring balance to the people on the land.
But that's what I'm saying, though, Rob. Ain't it our land? It's our land.
Right.
We
It's the
land.
process.
So
right.
why we gotta wait for somebody else to come give us our land? Why can't we
It's
just take our land
it's
back?
not that. It's the process of cohesion. Right? It's the battle cry to draw us together so that we can be all saying in the same voice the same thing. Larry Hoover is just the focal point because we need one thing to focus on. But free Larry Hoover don't just mean free Larry Hoover. The leadership on our land of chiefs are all in agreement, but the grassroots is unaware of the power transition that's in progress.
So all these chiefs, are these chiefs in prison, incarcerated, behind bars?
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. A lot of them are, and they have the paperwork to prove they was a direct assault from COINTELPRO.
So what we have to do as a collective, even the chiefs that's already on the land that's free, is they're trying to organize, is what you're saying, to free the other chiefs, so then we can organize and ask them for our stuff back.
No, we ain't asking them for shit. We already got it back. But listen. The battle cry is for the cohesion of the people. It has nothing to do with the imposters on the land. We not asking them for nothing. We using this as a focal point of education and awareness to the people that's from the clans on the grassroots level. So we already in transitional government phases of this. I'm just bringing it to the awareness, and Larry is the spokesperson for the collective chiefs on the land. So by me letting the people know who has to speak, when they'll know then when the power transition is complete, because then they'll see the person that I'm telling them need to speak, because this is who the chiefs who organic to the land pick. We don't got nothing to do with that corporate shit.
See, Rob, when you say that though, right? We waiting on one voice to be free to speak for us. That sounds like we waiting on Jesus to return to save us.
No. It's a difference. It's like scheduling a concert. It's like scheduling a concert. I'm doing the promotion for the concert right now.
Okay, so you doing a promotion for the actor, for the rapper, for the entertainer.
Right. So in this case, it's a self-help lecture, and Larry Hoover is the keynote speaker at a self-help lecture.
So you come on, dude, stop it, bro. If the dude is behind bars, or he's entrapped or enslaved, or he's a prisoner, why we gotta do all this promote for him? Why can't we promote it for ourselves? Why can't we get the thing rocking ourselves? Why we gotta do all this promoting and dancing and shucking and jiving for somebody else?
It's for us to become aware. It ain't so much are we doing it for him. You taking it from a more personalized perspective than what the process really is.
But this is a personal thing when we're talking about our lives, our daily living, us as a collective, us as a whole.
Okay, look, it worked like this. It's a process. I know the steps to the process.
Okay.
If I follow the steps to the process, I'm going to get the successful result that I'm looking for. If you don't know the process and you see me making the steps, you won't understand the steps until it's hindsight 2020.
So who wrote the process? Larry Hoover?
No, it's a universal process on the land. It's the law of the land of how to restore the land at the end, how to determine who the leadership is.
You see, when you say universal, see, now you start talking my talk. You see, universal is universal. Universal ain't singled out to no one person.
But you still have to have a focal point.
Exactly.
You can't be scatterbrained.
The focal point is the message, not one man, not one person. Because now you start talking about Jesus, the Jesus story again. We got to wait on one man. Meanwhile, we
ain't waiting on nobody. The process is in play. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm already aware of that.
Okay, now, while the transition is taking place, I'm doing the campaign to let the people know who has been selected by the leadership to speak on behalf of the leaders on the land. That's the chiefs. That's got the blood ties by clan to the land.
Right, but when you say that though, Rob, that means we still got to wait for that chief, for that leader, for that speaker to be free in order to hear him speak. Because why he's under their incarceration, why he's under their jurisdiction, we can't hear him. We listening to you.
Right. Y'all listening to me for a reason. Because somebody has to tell the message.
But somebody we have to sit around and wait for him to come out and give the message though. That makes us a bunch of sitting ducks, Rob.
No, you still gonna be a sitting duck. You still gonna be sitting and waiting, even if Larry Hoover name ain't involved. We gonna still be where we at right now.
Yeah, y'all is. If y'all not doing nothing for your daily lives and your family lives, if y'all just sitting around waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to come, waiting for the sun to burn people up, waiting for Sky Daddies to return, you're gonna always be sitting around waiting.
And ain't nobody waiting on those Sky Daddies to return. We organizing the leadership on the land of the chiefs. Nothing to do with no politicians, because that shit don't got nothing to do with us.
Okay. I agree with that. But then again,
the
politicians is one organization. All these other individuals out here with their messages is just another sector of the organizations.
Right. So now how do you get the people that's our people that don't know what happened on the land? When I'm talking, I'm not just only talking about Free Larry Hoover. I say it periodically through the videos that I'm doing, but if you listen, I'm reconstructing what happened to us, who done it, what they done to our people, right? And how did they use this stuff and weaponize everything against us? I'm going through it. Each video, I'm breaking something else down, another part of what was done to us and what we need to do about this part of it, right?
See, that's why I like you, because when you be giving your message is a little bit different than them other folks, because you do be dropping some jewels on them. You do. And I got to give you respect for that. Your angle is a little bit different than the rest of them folks. It really is. And that's why I've been really patient, you know what I'm saying, and watching how things been playing out. You know, like I seen you come over to my lives before and you've been respectful. And that's why I'm respectful over here. And I just wanted to get your attention to talk to you. And that's why it's not about the rest of the message. I wanted to talk to you about this Larry Hoover thing.
Right. So that's my personal clan chief. Right.
Okay,
so
your
I'm the
personal
one.
clan chief.
Right. So I'm the one who is responsible when the rest of the clans say he is the spokesperson. I'm the one that run around and ring the bell and say my chief got a message and it's coming.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But in the process of doing this, I have to educate the people of what he's going to be talking about. He's going to be addressing the grievances that me and you, the gripes we got with the system and how it has affected our families over the years.
Because see, that's it right there. That's my message, and my message bottom line, this system and anybody that works for this system, all the puppets that serve the puppet masters.
The only way to overthrow his system is to use our system. This is the system that I'm using is our oral system. This is our tradition. We can't evict him from our land using his rules because every time we use one of his rules, we give him the superior jurisdiction and say we imbeciles in his law.
Okay.
But if I go back to our tradition, right. So if I go back to our tradition and I follow our tribal customs of restoring the people on the land, then now the people on the land can say, oh, wait a minute, that shit don't got nothing to do with us over there. Let that shit fall.
But don't we have the greater numbers?
We got the birthright. We got all superior.
I'm aware of the birthright, and I know it's ours, and we're entitled to it. But what I'm saying is, don't we have the greater numbers?
The numbers don't matter. But we do.
I
have.
Agree with you on that. I agree with you.
We do have the greatest.
For confirming that. So
we do have the greatest.
It's just the numbers don't matter. It is ours. It belongs to us. The numbers don't matter.
That's the bottom line right there.
Then what are we waiting for? What's our hold up for us to reclaim what is ours?
It's a process. Ain't no hold up.
Process, a system.
Right.
Something that we must follow.
That's ours. We can't use his. We made a system that at any time somebody overthrow the chiefs on the land, that we, the chiefs, can restore our chieftains back on the land by using our original system.
See, another system that has been.
You can't escape system.
Another system that has been taken over.
Your body full of systems.
Taken over. So we got one system that's already running us and misleading us and misguiding us, but the other system that we waiting for to overtake this system. So when the old system is out, we just gonna fall in line to another system that's too weak to overthrow the current system.
The current system is gone. This is what my whole campaign is about.
I agree with you on that.
So how are they too weak to overthrow the current system when they already did it?
Okay, so if the old system is already overthrown, then what we need to sit around and wait for Larry Hoover come to out and speak for?
We don't have to. There's nothing we need to wait for Larry Hoover for. We don't need to wait for. Listen, we don't need to wait
for him. Then why is that the focal point? Why is Larry Hoover the focal point?
Because my chief and I'm doing the work, and the rest of the chiefs agreed that he was the spokesperson of the chiefs.
But if he's trapped up, why can't somebody else speak up? Who was next in line?
I'm speaking up now.
Huh?
I'm speaking up now. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, but you speaking up for the next man, though. You speaking up for the next man.
No, I'm speaking up for all of us.
For us as a whole.
I'm speaking up for whoever want to be part of the liberation movement and the
Exactly.
restoration
Whoever
of
want to
us
be
back
part
on the
of the
land.
organization.
Nope, they don't have to be part of the organization because I ain't got no organization.
I didn't say you. I just said organization. I'm speaking general, not you specifically, because it's not your organization. We already know that. You already said that. You said you
Right.
come up
Okay,
under
so
Larry Hoover.
look, slow down. You keep focusing on Larry Hoover, right? Because it's a focal point. You're supposed to.
That's your focus point.
Listen. Hold on,
That's your
listen.
focus point. So
All,
I'm focused on your
right.
focus point.
Listen. Because I can't talk to you if you're going to keep talking over me, right? If Larry Hoover is the focal point, you're supposed to question it. Just like you doing. You're supposed to do that. Because this dialogue is not for me and you. I recognize you as your own man that can make your own way in the world. But we have to get together in unity to do our part when we get done getting the imposters off the land.
And see, that's
We
it right there. Thank
we
you for
still
saying
got
that.
to come. We still
Together
have to
in
get together for the
unity.
cleanup.
Yes, have to come together in unity. And again,
Yeah.
see, I disagree with that unity talk. Because
Look,
that puts you back
you
into the
can disagree. Listen,
the slaying of the gangs, back into the organizations, back underneath another master, underneath someone else.
Look,
See,
this
if you say I'm
movement
my
is.
own man, but if you say I'm my own man and I can do it myself, then I can do it myself. I don't need to be a part of a group or organization to make something happen, to make something move. I don't need to unify with nobody else to take care of myself, to take care of my family, to take care of my land.
But when it's similarly situated people on the land, the same as you, they all had the same capabilities, but we have to redistribute the wealth of the land back to the people. In order to do that, we have to come together, at least for no other purpose, to get back what's already ours. We have to be the ones.
That, Rob. I like
we
how
have
you
to be
said
the
that.
ones. Look, we have to be the ones to reclaim our shit.
Okay, so once we
Our
reclaim it,
ancestors, listen, our ancestors laid a blueprint. I'm just following it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, me following this blueprint is to kill the system that's been kept us disenfranchised. But when I do that, it's going to be what you call a whole bunch of benevolent side effects to it. Right? And the only way that we can unlock it is we all have to bring a piece to the puzzle, to the table. And if everybody pieced to the puzzle, we can't spread no wealth because somebody missing. Right?
Okay, so when it comes down to, okay.
It ain't just a matter of free Larry Hoover. It says that that's my chief, and Larry had been served a great injustice and has done great works in the community that nobody talk about, and that has organized with leadership and spent 50 years in prison for helping us. But he was lied on by the government as part of an operation to keep the leadership that's natural to the land, that's born to be the leaders on the land. The government systematically have to take them out of position so that we can never get to the realization that we didn't come on ships. We was already here, right? Somebody came over here to rob, kill, steal, and destroy. And I have to let you know who it is. And Larry, because Larry is known, he my chief. Because he is known and he was doing the same work that I'm doing, trying to figure out how to get the imposters off the land when they put him in prison as a child. He was what, 18, 19, 20 years old? He was a youngster. right? But he ain't in prison. He wasn't in prison because he was guilty. He was in prison because he was under the COINTELPRO Roundup program because he was one of the organic leaders of the land. To tell the story lets the people know how we lost our power and what we need to do to regain our position of prominence back, where we don't need these people to do nothing for us because we got everything we ever needed. It's already here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When they stole the wealth, they couldn't take it nowhere. All they did was just kept us from using it. It's still here.
And in order
They
to
just
regain that wealth, we're going to need another system in order to reallocate it out to everyone properly. That's what you're saying.
It's going to have to be systems at all times. Your body is full of systems.
I agree with you on that too. Okay, there's always going
We
to have
could
to be
even use
someone who's going to have to maintain the order and balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
So
but see that this is when I come in, where we got to be mindful of what is this system we attaching to? Who is this going to be in charge? Who's going to be the one maintaining the order and balance? Because we already got one system that's not working out for us. And when you're talking about another system, well, who created this system? What's the origin of this system?
we're going back to the prior system that was here before the enemy came with their system superimposed on top of ours. Okay. Because before they came,
do you have any idea how that system operated and how it constructed?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you mind share that?
Yeah, it's all based on the welfare and the maintenance of children. We look at the children as our projection of the future. If we protect and raise the children correctly, we are going to create the best possible future for us to come back in. Because that's how we come back.
That's why I like you, Rob. Because see, when you speak like that, see, your message is different. And you actually coming from a place from different other messengers. So see, again, that's why I got honor for you when you speak like that. Because see, you talking exactly my talk right there. That's my language. I can relate to that. Absolutely. But when you're talking about these systems and these organizations to get to put in play, if the old one is already done and you're speaking up for the new one, well, how do I be a part of this? Or where do I get the information from so I can see if I want to be a part of this new system so I can help out? See, y'all think I'm here to argue, right? But I'm not here to argue. I'm here to solve the problem. I'm here to help out. See, he's speaking about the children, and I speak up for the children. So how can we get this thing rocking right now? See, all y'all want to do is just listen to somebody else talk and gather data. I'm a man of action. I seek out results.
So you see that I'm already, on this understanding with you, where you can see that this is not the same bullshit that we were being misled with. It's for a reason. I don't do nothing haphazard. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not gonna do it until I get done reading the rule book. Once I get done reading the rule book, now I know what I'm up against.
Hey, dig of those books, y'all. Gotta read those books. Make sure y'all read y'all books. All right.
Weightlifting for the Brain 101.
You ain't gonna know if y'all don't read your books. Better read. Better read up.
No.
I ain't reading no books, but I don't miss nothing. Hey, Rob, this has been phenomenal, bro. Again, I don't do this for the numbers. I don't do this for the money. My page is not monetized. I just had a few questions, and you answered everything that I was looking for. Like I said, I got honor and respect for you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. Man, keep doing your thing, man. Because everybody got a part to play, like you say. I agree with you on that. And that's why it's never no hate on none of y'all, okay? No matter whatever I say, it's all about the message, not the messenger.
And the people that have been listening for a while, they all understand what I'm about to say, right? We don't all supposed to see stuff exactly the same. Mm-hmm. If we all seen this problem the same way, we would never get out this motherfucker.
Or if we seen it all the same, we probably wouldn't be in this motherfucker, or we'd have been got about this motherfucker. We would have been organized and got this shit right. But the fact that we can't see it all the same way, we can't get on the same page. We all distracted, distorted, deterred, derailed. all over the damn
Yeah.
place,
So look,
disorganized.
I feel like this. If my brother can't question me because he don't understand my position, I don't need to be in this position.
There you go. I see. I respect that too. See, you accepted the request, and we having a conversation, and there's no disrespect from now one of us. That's
Yeah.
all we got to do is have a conversation.
I feel like that what you might be seeing, you could be giving me a message from Big Mama to look at something else in the problem that I had not yet looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I know how she make you buck like a bull when she's trying to make something happen. That energy start running through you and you can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mama telling you to do something.
Mm-hmm.
If I stop you from doing it, I can make you have a full-fledged nervous breakdown. Because you can't follow your spiritual path, I'm blocking your energy.
Pay attention.
But
Listen, y'all.
if
That's
I
a
allow
highlight.
you to come on here and express what Big Mama says, she need for somebody to come through now and then and not agree with me out the gate. She need that. So the people can see that on the land, the energy that comes from the land gonna always make us find common ground.
I like. See.
So so I let you come in. Come on, because I had heard you a couple of other videos. You was talking about some other guys on there, but that what you didn't mention me. That had nothing to do with me. So I'm mind my business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Respect.
Right. So you see me in there, I don't say nothing. Get that nigga. He might be wrong.
Respect.
If he wrong, boot his ass out in the street. People gonna see him butt naked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know what Big Mama got you doing. She don't have you doing the same thing she had me doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So while she's training you how to joust with me, she got you jousting with motherfuckers that need to be jousted with. So when you come to me, you can see the difference in the energy you deal with, the intellect you deal with, the insight into the problem and solution that we deal with. And then you say, oh, this one of the ones, one of us for real. This ain't the fake ones. This ain't no $5 Indian here. Then you say, much respect, bro. I understand now. Let's get these motherfuckers. Right? So Larry gave me certain stuff to do. Angel Bay gave me certain stuff to do. Tuki gave me certain stuff to do. My mama gave me certain stuff to do. Once I get done doing all this stuff, it's going to paint a picture for me. And then it's going to give me a map of where I'm going with all this information that I'm accumulating. Right? So once the people can see it, after you done went through what you went through with everybody else, you get a different interaction and the people can see it. They know that now we do have a fucking chance. We do have, if he can see what this brother talking about by having a one-on-one conversation with him, now we can understand that we really do have a chance of overcoming this motherfucking ignorance that's keeping us from moving into our positions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So you become the witness with witnesses. So now you go back and you start fixing the structure of your clan based on what you feel in your soul. Because you know now this is going to matter now again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you call back to the beginning, back to your old ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, but it ain't the old ways, it's the ways of old.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we have boss communication. Now we understand each other. And now we can work with each other to overcome the obstacle of getting the message to our people that we done took this bitch over. Hated to love it, these motherfucking underdogs back on top. And you can either come to the Big Mama house and get you some of this food, or we'll bring you a plate when we get back. Because we about to feast on these motherfuckers' ass. We finna ball out of control and have Mardi Gras all across the goddamn land.
Rob, much appreciation to you, bro. Like I said, man, honor to you for allowing me to come up here and having this conversation with you, because that's all I wanted to do, to just have a conversation, and that's all we needed to do, so that people can see and people can hear and they can exercise their own best discernment on what they need to do for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how I stand when it comes to any messenger. All we got to do is just speak. We don't have to argue. We don't have to yell. We don't have to be disrespectful. And Chainbreaker ain't never gonna yell or get disrespectful with anyone. All we got to do is talk, bro. I appreciate this encounter right here. This has been phenomenal. This is one going down in the books right here. All right, we making it happen. We making a difference. Y'all keep on paying attention and listening. Mama's making things move. Father's making things move. Things is happening, y'all. Okay? Things is happening. And I'm going to tell you, like I said before, Rob do have pieces of the puzzle. Yes, he do. Okay? Because he does speak different than the rest of them jive time turkeys. All right? And that's why we was able to have this conversation here tonight. All right? I didn't come up here to bash him. I ain't come up here to assassinate him. I ain't come up here to dog him out. I just had to get his attention. And once I got his attention, we can have a decent conversation. See, y'all thought this was going to be something different. Nah, that's not how Chainbreaker move. That's not what I do. Okay? Rob, I'm not going to hold you up no more. Bro, continue doing your thing, man. Again, I appreciate you for this. Thank you for the conversation. Okay?
Yeah, I appreciate you too, bro.
Hey, take care, bro. Much honor to you. All right.
Yeah. So I need a sister to wrap this up with.
Right on. I'm so happy to be able to get and speak to you. Okay,
Yeah,
so you say some wonderful things.
Tell the people your name, where you call it from, sweetie.
My name is Latrice Parson. I used to think that I was supposed to be a Moor, and I found that out. And since I found out that that was all wrong and COINTEL program leading the masses astray, I was like, no, no, no. And I've been shouting, hoping somebody hears.
Yeah. So the first part of being free is to know where to chain that.
It's around your brain.
Yeah. If you don't know where to chain that, you can't never get free.
Okay, so I heard somebody.
It's an invisible chain.
I heard somebody say, what was their quote? They said that Allah is chained by the earth, or chained to the earth with gold. And it didn't really, I couldn't grasp the exact meaning. Allah. When we connect to the mother, we return to Allah. We return to the all. We don't go back to the all because our brain is wrapped up thinking that you got to run out there, go to work, and then pray outside of your body. And then now you losing your spinal fluid because you're having sex. They're telling you to have sex instead of retaining your fluid, so it activates your pineal glands and your pituitary glands, and you're not connecting to the mother through the Christ chamber in the brain, because Christ was not a man. It's this chamber in your brain. They got you worshiping Cesare Borgia, and people don't know. I'm not patient like you. I get excited. I'm sorry.
So you said Allah, and then you mentioned her. The original name before they added the sun letters was Alat.
Oh, okay.
Alat was always a female moon goddess.
Okay. I have not had that one yet.
Yeah. So when you study the history of the Kaaba, the Black Stone in Mecca, you will run into the story of Alat, the moon goddess whose statue used to be one of the idols in the Kaaba that became the 99 plus 1 names of Allah, which were aspects of Alat, the great goddess, and they turned them into masculine principles and attributed to Allah when they put the sun letters in, this is when they usurped the divine feminine out of the Islamic faith. It was all written by the Catholic Church to begin with.
Okay. Okay, so the Catholic Church was originally a good thing, and they usurped it. That's why they tell you the story of the Borgias, because they want you to know where it went wrong. And it was already going wrong before that, but he solidified the wrong.
It was Constantine in 325 and the establishment of the Catholic Church. What you see as the Catholic Church been there for way longer than the Catholic Church existed. Right? That used to be the square of ISIS. And this is where the Sibyls were all of the matriarchs from around the world used to assemble there. They all wore white. And the one who sat on the queen's seat, the queen mother's seat, was Big Mama. And she wore black.
Her.
So that's why they had the nuns wearing black now instead of white.
Because they flipping everything.
They flipped everything.
Okay. They flipping stuff side to side, up and down, backwards and forwards, inside out. They flipping it however they can get it. There are things that I have been, okay, I was raised by Freemasons. My grandfather decided he wanted to be a Freemason, and the whore he left my grandmother and was hooking up with, she was bloodline. She bloodline because she used to brag about, my mama worked in rich white folks' homes. We special. We had nice stuff for rich white folks. And my grandmama, we didn't do that. My grandmama family owned land and shit, and they had stores. They did things. So I know that her story and our story.
If you remember, I don't know how old you are. You might not be old as me, but when I was so I'm 53. So when I was a little boy, there was little mom and pop stores all over Chicago, little basement stores where you go get the penny candy, all that shit gone.
Yes, it's
but
all
gone. That's because nobody would put stores in our community, and we had our own shit.
The popcorn lady, my family used to own a store. We went down to Beaumont and then to New Orleans. We literally are walking around and we can see, because we're still alive, they can't claim our land. So literally, buildings are just deteriorated, but they can't remove them because they're there. It's
historical
our land.
site.
And as long as one of us is still alive, they can't do nothing. They only doing stuff on land where they have murdered all of the bloodline. That's the only place they're doing stuff. People don't realize that. Wait, and I want to introduce some information real fast because your crowd is a lot larger than what I can normally get a hold of. It is illegal to not register your birth certificates. They don't tell you that because as long as you don't do it, they can fine you and they can fee you. But as soon as you register your birth certificate, you put every one of your contracts on there. They can never come and demand money from you no more. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff that you need to do in order to free all of your family, get everybody's birth certificate on the record. So
that's the old system that you're talking about.
I believe
that
you, but hold on a second.
That system,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We done with their paper systems.
Wait, Rob. I gotta tell you this because it's not over yet. It's not over yet because for 10 years now, because I read the entire United States Code, baby. I read the whole thing. For 10 years, it's gonna take them to round up all of these Freemasons, all of these cops, all of these sheriffs. It's gonna take them a long time to pull all of that crap together. It's a lot of these people that's running around here thinking that they're doing the good thing, don't know that they done violated everybody. These people get up and go to briefings every morning and they dumb. They don't know what the law is. They just stupid taking orders. So all of these people got to get rounded up. It's going to take them 10 years to do that. And in the 10 years time, we have to become competent They're not going to give us our money. The Nisera Jacera is going to give everybody $100,000 per year for 10 years. When it's over, it's because they wiped the slate with all these people. And then for real, for all of us who haven't reconciled us, that's when our God power is going to just smite everything. But a lot of us are going to wake up before the 10 years happens. And it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. But when the 10 years is done, woo, it's over. It'll be us. 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 Not the monkeys, not the reptiles, not the gray aliens. It'll be us. You know who the monkeys are? The Petrie people. The ones that was made to be the working class. Don't be mad because they got jobs and you don't. They were made to work. But it's up to us to put ourselves back on top of the pyramid. Because right now, they got the workers standing up there going, what y'all doing, what y'all doing, what y'all doing. I've been knocking people down all over town for the last 2 years. Knocking them down everywhere. Nobody messes with me. People be mad at me. They can't do shit. They just scared. Please don't ask me my name and badge number. Please don't ask. If I ask, it's over. It's called a standard 95 form. Anybody having a problem, don't get mad. Be happy that they messing with you. Get along. Leave with your life. And then go pull out a standard 95 form and write down what they violated you on. Hand that crap in.
Look. We know we passed doing their forms, and this is why. Every time you file paperwork with them, you will admit their superior jurisdiction to your birthright to the land.
But when you file it, they know immediately because they're military. Every one of them has a military
I understand
mind.
exactly what you're saying, but you're not catching what I'm saying. It's a trick, is what I'm telling you.
I know that you're saying it's a trick, but no matter what, some of us have family that we have to prepare for. We have to take care of them. They're scattered. They are untaken care of. They ruined Egyptian families. We have to pull them into safety before somebody else get them. This 10 years is our fight to pull our stuff together. Everybody's family ain't next door.
When you filing them contracts, you filing with a dead system.
But you're not doing contracts. You're not doing
it's
contracts.
It's an adhesion contract.
You're saying
anytime you file paperwork with them, you are submitting to their jurisdiction over you. Period.
Until you say, this is my stuff, the little treaty crap arrangement BS don't kick in. We can scream it, holler it. This is what I'm at the Moors for, because they got people running off into the wrong categories. Literally.
The treaties don't got nothing to do with us.
I know they're all lies. I know it's all bullshit. But we got people who can't eat. We got people who are homeless. We got people who are locked behind bars.
That's because they all connected to a dead system.
But they can
and they haven't become aware.
Put their birth certificates on the record. They can come home immediately.
There, go and put your birth certificate. Look, you got an absolute right to do what you think is best for you to do. Right? And that's the rules of the game.
I still meditate.
No, listen. So you can do whatever you think is right. I'm telling you from studying the system how it works. It's a trick to get you to tell them they are over you. That's all they need you to do. File anything you file with them is an agreement that their contract law, you fall under that. The default to that, because it's a default. The default is you classify yourself as an imbecile in law, which gives them perpetual control of your estate. You can't get your estate back accepting a de facto government's jurisdiction over a de jure organic royal personage. The royal tradition is an oral tradition. When the Kings make the announcement, it makes it active. When you file paperwork, the people that accept the paperwork is accepting you as an imbecile. So whatever you do, they have to treat you according to whatever they laws say how you treat an imbecile. The whole Uniform Commercial Code is just an updated version of the ancient code of thieves.
Okay, let me say this. I put my stuff on the record the day after Super Bowl. That was Monday. Super Bowl was Sunday. That was Monday. On Wednesday, I started looking at my Telegram because I follow all the military chats. As I'm looking at my Telegram, I see somebody, a military guy, come out and say, yo, Mark Brenovich, we know you went to lunch with the damn county recorder that you were supposed to have fired. You didn't fire him, but now he is fired, and so are you. They had that meeting because I did something that they have never been allowing people to do. So once I did that, they went to lunch. The military has been watching everybody, and I know they've been watching me because about 5 of them have reached out to me, if not more. So this whole thing is changing. And yes, it was stupidity. It was they were saying all of this dumb stuff about us. But literally, when Trump came into office, they started rounding up and doing these things correctly. They're not letting them run amok no more and bar us. I was finding the paperwork where they literally said, don't give them this paperwork. Don't let them file this. Keep running them around in circles. Yes, I found all of that. I know everything that you're saying is correct, but it's slightly a little outdated, just slightly. This is all new stuff. So many different systems are coming into play, and we really are becoming really effective. I'm telling you, I scare motherfuckers. They're afraid to freaking come to my front door. One came and knocked on the door and stood back like 20 feet. And he saw me at the door. He said something, and I said, I saw you, and I know you saw me, but I'll get to you when I choose. Now you just wait. I went out there, and the damn fool was like, oh, well, I needed blah, 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 blah. He didn't have no attitude, no nothing. He knew he's not supposed to approach me. These people are rectifying themselves because there was this, the letter that they sent out. Pope sends Obama powerful letter. And then they sent out another letter to the sheriffs, the bar attorneys, the judges, just a list. And they sent out all of them. They said, stand down, because right now you're taking your own life in your hands, because you can be prosecuted, you can be executed. Leave these people the hell alone. That's why they stopped arresting people. That's what they're not telling. Now, they really supposed to be arresting these violent people, but they're not arresting them because they contract. They getting paid to act the fool.
Right. And every time you file paperwork with them, you pay their salary.
No. Because really, for real, it's very few things that you're doing. When you put them on the record, they go on the county record, and the county record pushes it to the Federal Register, and the Federal Register says no more. You can't do none of this no more. You can't pull no money out of their accounts. Their accounts belong to them. They came in with an affidavit of ownership. They came in with a notice of claim. They came in, they put their leases on. They put their fucking car payments on. They put their fucking power bills on. They put all their shit on here. You can't come after them no more. It's over for that. That account is closed for your access.
Now, when they say, okay, now when they finna process that account, do you know where they process that account at?
I'm still going through it.
All right. Now, the account is processed on the International Stock Exchange when they unravel what you call the batch rolls of birth certificates. The birth certificates are bonds.
Now, it's a surety for
hold on. Let me finish.
And it's a guarantee for you if you register it. Either they
listen,
gonna use it or you
listen,
gonna use it. It is in
listen.
existence. Somebody gotta own it. And it only belongs to you. You the owner. They trying to get benefit
Hold on.
off of
I'm
you.
trying to tell you how they process the batch roll.
Go ahead.
Now, in the batch roll, there's going to be no what they call addendums attached to the birth certificate except for the one that you put all that stuff on. The ones with addendums goes to arbitration. And in arbitration, they review it to determine if you access the count, right? The only way to access the count is to prove you're not an imbecile in law. So when they going over the batch roll, when they reading your addendum, they say everything is attached, everything is attached. It's certified and verified that this person is an imbecile in law that recognizes the de facto jurisdiction under the color of law to establish the estate. Therefore, the estate is denied. But they're not going to tell you that. That's why the federal government, all of those ones that was trying to using what they call the Moorish way, and they was taking them to federal prison, charging them with racketeering and fraud, right? They was doing that to keep them from telling everybody else how to navigate the contract we was under, because they didn't want to honor the contract. They never had any intentions of honoring the contract they created in the blood of our ancestor. But now we have to get from under their contract. That means that we have to be 5/5 realized, and we can't be 3/5 compromised.
Okay.
So
No.
Filing paperwork with them is their proof that you don't know who you are.
When you authenticate that birth certificate, they tell you who you are. They got people signing up as believing that they Moors, but when I authenticated my birth certificate, that number at the very, very top, you run that number through your state business department. They got a document search. You run that number through there. When you run that number through there, they're going to give you information on who is trying to corporatize your birth certificate. That's called your proof of existence. And then when that's the number on the birth certificate. When you run a number on the authentication, it's going to tell you where your national bank is. That's your nationality. So when they tell you where your national bank is, then I called the dude, I talked to him. But he was like, you got to get a lawyer to come represent you, da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, I already know they are under oath.
That's shifting. Look, all that is just verifying what I'm telling you. When he told you need a lawyer, right?
I know
Lawyer,
that's what I was saying.
listen.
Under oath to not help you.
Right. Lawyers are barristers. And only people that's going to refer you to a barrister is a land baron. The land baron is going to always give you a deflection because you don't know who you are. If you knew who you were, your jurisdiction overrides their jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction of paperwork is what you call secondary to the law of the land.
That's why there's a self-evaluation in there where you don't go through them. You fill out that self-valuation thing and you just say, here, this is it. And then they're like, oh shit.
And then who you give it to? And then who you give it to them?
County record?
That's them. Remember.
But if they don't know that they're not supposed to approach you, they're gonna keep on approaching you. They have come to recognize my face. When they figure out that somebody is talking about me, I went to AT&T about 2 weeks ago. My computer was messed up. I've already had, because they've been tracking me. So they all in my computer. So I take my computer down to Apple. And I got a gun on my fucking ankle because the day before, or the 2 days before, I walked my ass into the DMV. The bitch told me she wasn't going to do the paperwork. Me and her got into a little bit of argument. And I said, that's okay. I'm going to pull out a 95 form on your ass and you'll be done. By the time I left my coffee cup. I had to go back there to get my coffee cup. When I came back in there, she had a damn police in there. And I was like, oh, this was cute. I said, so thank you for threatening me. Go ahead and write down your name and badge number 2, because I got a standard form, 95 form for your ass too. I said, go ahead and write it down. The motherfucker started freaking out. He wrote down his shit, and then he started fucking shaking his shit. He was shaking. He literally was, and he was going to hand it to me, and then he freaked out and he pulled it back. And then he tried to call for backup. I said, you go ahead and you call for backup, because all of y'all motherfuckers gonna get picked up by the fucking military. I said, I don't even have to fucking call. I don't even have to fucking call. I said, because you're calling on somebody. You're at the fucking DMV. Huh?
If they gonna get picked up, only way that they get picked up by the military is under martial law.
We under martial law. The military is occupying everything.
We always been under martial law. This
now
has been
we
a military
under our martial law. This is the Army of the Grand National Republic. This is not the U.S. military. These people are fucking lying. They're not giving you the updated information.
I'm telling you the updated information.
I know you telling some, but what they're reporting out there, and they're not letting people know that these mechanisms are in place. They're working, they're changing, and they're working properly now according to the way they were always supposed to work. It's changing. There are so many different lines of information, different lines of activity that are all flowing and happening right now. All of this stuff is coming together. The only thing that's not coming together is us in our mind. People are not meditating. Meditate. Get your fluid, get your God power. And then you don't have to do that. You don't have to do none of this paperwork. But I meditate. I float. I was literally floating. It freaked me out. I went and got myself in the shower. And then I listened to you about a few days ago. I caught one of your things, and you were saying, yeah, these people teach you this shit. They want you to do all of this stuff because they want you to go crazy. Because if you don't learn everything first, you will go crazy. Now, when I started floating, that was like 1.5 years ago. I ain't meditated no more because I was like, that was too much for me. That was an overload. I had to pull myself out of that. It was really scary. But when you were saying this, because this last 1.5 years, I've been pulling more and more information into myself. Now I'm ready to do it again because now I'm not overwhelmed anymore.
Yeah.
But you also got to get all of that stuff out of your nose and your sinus canal that's all blocking up your pineal and your pituitary gland, because when I rinsed out only 1/2. Lots of nasty stuff. It looked like giant eggs, but it was all yellow. It looked like giant yolks. 5 of them came out of 1/2 of my head. Nastiest thing. But that was the night that I meditated and I floated.
Mm-hmm.
Get that stuff out of your head. Homemade saline solutions. That was the night I floated. But until we reach in our God power, we need a shield of protection. Tell these fools stop fucking with you.
Yeah. All right, sweetie, I'm about to wind down now. I'm going to take one more caller before I wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for chiming in.
All right.
We're going to let old Smith Money come in here.
Wow, I can't believe I made it on here.
Mm-hmm. What's up, guy? Where you calling from? What's your name?
Man, my name James, man. I'm from Florida. What's up with you, Rod?
Taking it easy, man. You got some questions?
Yeah, man. I'm kind of nervous. I see what people be saying when they get on here.
I think your microphone covered up. You sound muffled.
Hold on. You can hear me now?
Yeah, it sounds a little better.
Okay. I think that was my little cover case. But I was just saying, I can see how people get nervous when they get on here. I done got a little nervous. But I do got some questions though. I'm somebody I've been studying for about like 10 years, so I'm kind of new on the knowledge, but I always get led to new people. And when I got led to you, you took me to a whole nother level on some of the stuff you be talking about. And the questions I got, okay, with the CERN machine, what exactly do you think the CERN machine is for that they using?
CERN?
Yeah.
CERN was originally a research facility, but it's for smashing atoms, right? And the reason they built CERN was they was going to try to collapse the 5 dimension into the 3 dimension on a triple infinity loop. We couldn't let them do that. That's why it was closed down. They just now open it back up. But they can only do certain tests in there to prevent them
Okay.
from what they call rupturing dimensions. That's what happened when they used the planet destroyer in the Anunnaki wars, the Gandiva. It caused the 4th dimension to collapse into the 3rd, and that's why we gotta sleep, because we didn't used to sleep.
Oh, okay. That makes
Because we
sense.
gotta live in 2 realities at the same time, and your energy have to shift from one reality to another.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th dimension is astral. When it get real strong, people fall asleep easy, like narcolepsy.
Yeah. Is is um is that kind of like the reason, like when you go to sleep, people be saying they go to the astral plane or the astral realm?
Yeah. So the first thing you need is learn lucid dreaming. That's becoming conscious that you're dreaming in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get skilled at that, excuse me.
Why nigga, what you smoking over there, boy?
I just re-upped today. Um, 2 of my brothers be having that kills, and I got some from both of them. I mixed that shit together. Now that shit trying to kill me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the comments we back on track, man. I don't know what them other people was on, but I'm a real student, so I'm humble right now. I'm glad to be talking to the OG.
Look, you're gonna be faced with different people with different views from different walks of life. Some of them gonna come combative. Some of them gonna come humble. You got to be prepared to accept all comers.
That's real.
Right now, we talking leadership skills. If you got leadership skills, you exercise the leadership skill, you get the people to become their own leader. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the difference. So even the fact that they see me faced with the opposition, it get them to see how I handle it as different from other people. And that
Mm-hmm.
shows a difference of understanding the nature of the human.
Yep.
And the ones that understand the nature of the human know how to help humans the best. We instinctively cling to that.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I said about you, because I was like, because people in the comments they see me talking, but I was like, this man got like supreme patience, and I was like, he don't run for no questions. I ain't seen a question you couldn't answer. And then I was also like, even when people try to come at him and attack him, he stayed humble and he killed them with truth. And that's what made me even cling more towards you. And that's what made me respect you even more, because I can see the truth in you. And you don't get mad, you don't get frustrated, you just listen and you teach. And that's why I feel like I know what you're saying is the truth.
Right? Sometimes they might not get it right now. It might not click for a week. It might not click for 2 years, but it's gonna click. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have that aha moment. So
Mm-hmm.
even if like they still adamant on doing some foolishness, when you break it
Mm-hmm.
down to them, they might not get it right now. Their brain got to
Facts.
process it first. Some people take longer to process than others. But when you put the pieces together, you be like, holy shit, that shit is a trick.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So okay, I got this question, Rob. Um, um, I'm having a little brain freeze. Okay, I got it. Okay, so when you talk about the three chiefs on the land or whatever, do you think the Super Bowl halftime performance did that have something as far as pushing the free Larry Hoover movement?
Indirectly, it was more related to family feuds being settled on the West Coast between the red and the blue.
Okay.
And they had to put it out in the public to remember this right before Snoop Dogg get death row.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Remember, Suge was the blood, Pyru, Treetop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the red and the blue, somewhere the red owed the blue for the business transaction that went sour. Now we talking Harry O putting up money for death row and David Kenner telling them fuck Harry O. He don't need that money. Right. But Harry O ain't want nothing but his $1 million back because he gave it to him to start death row. Right. So when they played it out, remember Suge caught his case at the Tams.
Mm-hmm.
When you seen him dancing on top of the building, that was the Tams.
Oh, okay. Okay, I ain't know that.
Okay, right. And now white mean karma clear. That mean the debt been paid. The only one that had on colors was Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Crip rag suit on,
Mm-hmm.
right, with the gold ring in it. The
Mm-hmm.
gold ring telling me who's going to get the money, who's going to show up with the payment that balances the books. So they gave Snoop the opportunity to buy Death Row, right?
Oh, now
And
that makes sense. Dang, that's crazy. You be knowing everything.
so Harry O got to sign off on it, but all he wanted is his $1 million back, and Snoop wanted him to take an executive role on the new Death Row board. I don't know if they settled that between him and Snoop, but Harry O had to sign off, Tricky had to sign off, Suge had to sign off, and then BlackRock Corporation will then give Death Row to Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Right, because BlackRock had the money to buy all that shit. So the company that bought Death Row, BlackRock bought that company.
Yeah.
Just so that they can, so I got a video I did a couple years ago called the $1 Trillion Buyback Program.
Mm-hmm.
And it explained how the royal families had got together to buy everything that they did. And there's two main families, the Amaru and the Mississippians. The Mississippians is under BlackRock. The Amaru is under Vanguard.
Oh.
So this is why they own almost everything now. Now, BlackRock is buying up the companies that own the most companies.
Mm-hmm.
And Vanguard is buying up the companies that has the most they more like on the tech side of the purchases. So those who got the most connections to Silicon Valley and Hollywood related are all going to be bought up by Vanguard. When you get done buying up everything, then you let the system fall. You can give the people a safety net for their economics so they don't panic and lose their mind because they think it ain't no money.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more money than it's ever been. Right?
Money for who exactly, though?
Huh?
Money for who exactly?
Us, the organic people of the land. When we put the chieftains back on top,
Mm-hmm.
then they gonna break bread out of Big Mama's coffers.
Okay.
The pharaoh money,
Okay.
ancient Egyptian pharaoh money, gold gym shoe money, like 14 karat gold gym shoe money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about monopoly money, fiat currency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about actual something that gives you true wealth. We already understood you can't own the land, and that's why you can't never get a piece of paper called holder in due course over a piece of land. Because then that would make you a land baron, and then that would make you untouchable. If you actually own the land, they can't tax it, but you can.
That's deep.
You see, so we have to remember how to restore the chiefs because we already have the wealth of the land under our feet. That's why they
Yeah,
haven't been able to trade our oil. That shit is our shit. And
mm-hmm.
anything you get from under the ground on indigenous land, you can't freely sell it without our permission. So they can't hold it until we decide we want to sell it. That's why it's more oil in Mexico, Texas, than it is in Saudi Arabia, but we buying oil from Saudi Arabia. Why? Because the people of the land never okay our natural resources to be outsourced.
Yeah, we get our oil from everywhere else but here, really.
Hmm Because we never agreed for our shit to be outsourced, we was what you call stockpiling wealth. All the shit they couldn't trade built us a surplus of wealth.
Yeah, that makes sense. That make a lot of sense. Okay, I got this question for you, Rod, because I, hey, I know you be knowing everything. So what do you think about with? I don't know if you familiar with the Neuralink, the thing that Elon Musk got, the little chip that he trying to put in people. And then what do you think about the metaverse? Like exactly like what are they trying to do with that as far as tying that in with the world?
The Neuralink, well, I had to go 101 with the AI technology, and the God mind is superior to artificial intelligence. It's been proven.
I believe that.
Okay, now, the artificial intelligence has what they call a 4-bit quantum connection, which is in quantum space is going to 4 different dimensions at the same time to get the answer to the question. But the
Wow.
God mind have what you call a 21-bit connection, where you can go to 21 different dimensions at the same time to get more information than AI is capable of accessing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we have to get back to learning how to use it. The Neuralink that Elon Musk is pushing is for the ones who have mental disease or defect will be able
Mm-hmm.
to at least get up to the 4-bit quantum link through the connection. It's not really supposed to be for me and you because we know that the God form is more superior than the computer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so some of us is going to follow the lower vibrational narrative and we might get it.
Yeah.
But they don't know it's dumbing them down, but they going to feel smarter. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like an idiot a lot. But when the information come out and I go to cross-reference to see if I make sure I was right, I still be right and I be fucked up.
Yeah.
And I be saying, how the fuck do I know this shit? But I
You
know
know a lot.
I'm supposed to know this shit.
Yeah. You know a lot. Okay, so I got this question. Oh, I mean, I got to get these questions out while I got a chance to talk to you. I know you've been on
Yeah.
here a minute. But okay, this is a question that I've been wanting to ask you. It's crazy because I actually had DM'd you like the other day, and now I'm actually on live with you, so I know it's meant for me to ask you this. Um, so basically, what you saying is the Bible is kind of getting played out right now, like when you was referring to King David and like Larry as being pretty much like Solomon, and so you saying
Okay,
like
let me
when
show you what they did.
okay,
In their Bible, they created a conjure.
mm-hmm,
If we can put uh, a mirror reflection of a conjure in the position, we can unlock the energy behind a conjure and expose the fraud.
that makes sense.
So the steps was to show the steps to from King David to Solomon to
Mm-hmm.
the one to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they were telling the story about usurping the people of the land to establish the kingdom according to the promise of Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Yahweh is Enlil, and Enlil ain't got no business over here in the Americas with his bitch ass. So they used the Bible to try to usurp the land and win it by the close of the age in warfare.
Mm-hmm.
But warfare is also deception.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So when you use the Bible to unlock it, now you can tell the people where the fraud at
Okay.
and how it worked. Once they understand how it worked, you break them free. That aha moment at something that clicked,
Mm-hmm.
unlocking a concept in the mind to allow you to break free from the mental prison. And
Okay.
that's why you got to be able to read all of the cultures across the land in order to speak up for the high chiefs, because you got to do that across different clans. So you have to know the conjure from all of the clans. You got to know what make their energy activate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we start talking Crooked Man walking, we activating Crip energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And by default, it activates the B walking, which is the reverse, which is the Bloods. So then that give us the unleashing of the blood energy. So
Okay.
the blue is the electricity in the sky, is the same as the electromagnetic system in the blood, right? So that tells me they're the same people, different clans,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll work together once they realize that they wasn't their own enemy, that they were lied to and deceived into believing they was each other enemy by the real enemy.
That's deep, man. That's deep, man. So like, okay, so say like the Genesis story or whatever. So you got Incan and Lil. So like how when they talking about let us create man and all of that, how exactly how do Incan and Lil and the new play out in like the Genesis story? Like is because I heard different versions. I heard like the serpent supposed to represent it in Lil because Inky really had people working, but he didn't want them to wake up and learn the knowledge. And Lil really is the
No,
serpent
that's
that told them.
backwards.
Okay, so that's why I want to
So
know
in the
exactly what.
Bible, Enlil is Yahweh in the Bible.
Okay,
He the guy that's always talking about only me. I'm the only one you can worship. I'm jealous.
yeah, like the Lord God.
Yeah, that bitch ass God.
Mm-hmm.
Only me. You can't worship nobody else. Just me. I'm the only God that count.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got to always send his children to Israel to get fed. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
He can't take care of the Israelites, so he keeps sending them to Egypt to get taken care of. He
Yeah.
can't protect. He can't protect. He can't protect the so-called son, so he sent them to Egypt to get taken care of and protected. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This is the understanding of what's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
That's why.
replacement. It's a big switch. Take that shit back to the Middle East and leave it over there. They
Yeah.
can call it Northeast Africa if they want to, but take it back over there and leave it over there. And then go back to what we was doing before 1492.
Yeah. I be telling people it's a difference, and then when I was listening to you, and like before I even heard about the Free Larry Hoover movement that you started, I always was telling people like, I was like, man, if somebody like Tupac came back, like say if he like faked his death and he really came back, I was like, do you know what that would do to the world if like somebody like Tupac actually popped back up, or like you said, if they free Larry Hoover and they let this man talk, it's gonna be a whole it's gonna be a whole wave across the nation. If they actually let him get out and talk to people, I already know it's gonna change the world. And I be feeling like that about a lot of people. They're just like, even with Michael Jackson music, I be telling people, if you really take the time and you listen to his message that he was spreading, his music gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? Because he was spreading love and harmony. Like, that wasn't no regular music. Like, he was very misunderstood.
Yeah, they had to defame Mike because Mike wouldn't go along with a lot of shit behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And he used to protect those kids, those Hollywood kids that they was raping,
Mm-hmm.
like they did that girl from Poltergeist.
Yeah, that little 12-year-old girl or whatever she was.
Yeah, but they end up
Killed her.
they sodomized her and she got an infection from that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Facts. I know about all that.
But all those kids used to be begging Mike to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be putting security on them and shit. Mm-hmm. And hiring 24-hour nanny services for people's children that's starved so that they can have somebody to keep them from getting raped. Yeah. And the pedophiles in Hollywood, like, this moonwalking motherfucker getting in the way.
Mike was a bad man.
Yeah. And all the time, while they thinking he just a buck dancing Negro, he was taking their ass for 52% of Sony. He beat them at their own game. Mm-hmm. So they thought they was going to sharecrop his albums, make billions of dollars and give him a couple million and tell him he balling. But Mike knew business. Who did Mike learn business from?
James Brown. Come on, man. I'm a student. I know what's going on.
Right. So he had two tutors. His first tutor was Berry Gordy. Mm-hmm. When he used to record with Berry Gordy, he used to be asking Berry Gordy questions about how the contracts work and shit like that. He was learning the business way back then. When James Brown came along, James Brown was able to explain to him from an artist being signed to a label is different than being a label owner. And he was explaining to him from, if you're an artist on the label, you got to always remember to keep the access or keep the rights to your masters. Well, Mike found out that, okay, well, who buy the masters? The distributors. Mm-hmm. Right? So who was the distributor? Sony. Sony is the biggest distributor of all of the music in the world, especially over here. So if Sony is the biggest distributor, if I can get a piece of Sony, I can give up my publishing. Because if I end up owning Sony, I end up owning the people that publish my publishing.
Yeah, Mike know what's going on.
Right. So once he did that, that was the nail in his coffin, because then his contract has to expire. Once his contract expired, he left owning 52% of Sony. Mm-hmm. Right. And now they need to figure out how to get it back. Only one way. Probate. Probate.
See, I ain't think that deep. I ain't think about
but it can only go to probate if something happened to Mike. Like if he died. Yeah. So Michael Jackson died, his estates fall into probate. They got the judges paid off already. Mm-hmm. Right? So they already know to intervene for the Sony catalog, right? Because they got the other 48%. Mm-hmm. So their argument is, if anything happened to Mike, their contract, that's expired, comes back into play as a default. They call that a morality clause. Okay. Right? which is a morality cause. It's a
Okay.
play on words, right? And that's how they was able to flip it back into probate and buy it out of probate, because the judge can, what they call, balance the estate. And in balancing the estate, if you have a lien on the estate, he can satisfy the lien according to the lien holder, right? So the lien holder in this case being the executive board of Sony, right?
Oh, okay.
So in order to protect the best interests of the stakeholders, they make an offer to buy the shares in Sony that's in the probate in order to remove the lien off the estate.
That's crazy, man.
So they come in and get Sony for penny on the dollars, 52% of interest back. Now they got 100% of control back of Sony, and we don't have Michael Jackson.
They play a dirty game, and I be seeing the videos like where they showed the one video where it showed like a van or something pulled up, and they were saying, well, Michael Jackson hopped out and ran into like another room. Or I seen a video where they got like Tupac. He like walking through the casino area, but it's another dude kind of dressed like him, and he kind of looked by him and walked
Yeah,
on him like he was.
that was the double. That was the switch.
So that happened for real.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
So
Do you remember this? I done seen too many real niggas fall and let these bitch niggas beat me. Puffy, let's be honest. If you wasn't a punk, you'd see me with gloves. Remember the
yeah,
shit you said in the vibe about me being a thug?
man, if him and Asada come back, man, that's gonna be crazy. It ain't gonna be able to do nothing but wake the people up. It
Look,
ain't gonna be no choice.
do you remember Benghazi when Obama was in office?
Yeah.
Go back and look at the pictures. The bald head dude is Tupac.
Oh, okay. I got to go back. Is that on
That's
like
why they
that's on
never
like
sent.
Google?
Look, that's why they never sent any backup to Benghazi. It was a trap. Pac set a trap for him. He was gonna make it into a blatant bloodbath and expose itself, but they backed out of it and ran the other way. Go look at the pictures from Benghazi on Google search. They ain't even hard to find.
That's why they ain't had that man body at the funeral.
He was also at the All Eyes on Me premiere. He was with Shock G, but he was in movie makeup.
Oh,
So right before your very eyes, you won't even realize that you can't see the P. You can't see me. These niggas can't see me.
So hey, so what about the Stargates? Do they got all the Stargates now, or is it still Stargates out there? I know they say rainbow Stargates, but I'm talking about like the physical Stargate that they dug up in Africa.
Oh yeah, they have Stargates. They got Stargates all over the planet. Most of the pyramids that's off limits to regular people is because it's a Stargate in it.
Oh, okay.
Right, and you can dial up a destination to another Stargate if you know the Enochian keys, because that's what the encryptions are in Enochian alphabet.
Oh, okay. And what is Enochian? What is that, like some type of tribe or?
It's a language of a strain of angels.
Oh, okay.
But they really just extraterrestrials, but they calling them angels. So
Yeah,
I mean, what the fuck,
like
shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dang, that's crazy. Man, you got answers for everything, man. I ain't never seen nobody who got an answer for everything, man.
No, I don't. Well, if I don't know, I know how to say I don't know. That's still an answer for everything.
Yeah. What what you think about that continent that's coming up underwater over there by New Zealand? What exactly is that?
By where?
by New Zealand. They saying it's a continent coming from up under the water.
That's probably a ship about to come up,
Okay.
because that's not far from Antarctica. But I haven't looked into it, so I can't say for certain what it is.
Yeah, if you go on like Google, they got, and you put in like 8 continent, they showing the well, like up underwater, it's a whole big old landmass that's starting to rise up.
Well,
It's been.
well, we having an energetic pole shift too.
Mhm.
So instead of flipping the planet, it's just flipping the energy grid,
Okay.
right? And then south is again be up, and north again be down. And it's going to change the polarity of the pull on the waters as well, which in some areas could expose long underwater land masses, because the water could shift on the planet. Where the high tide is, where the high tide is where low tide used to be,
Got
you know.
you. Okay.
But it's all energetic. The shoe men flip into the shoe Tefnut on the energy frequency. And that's why the sisters is so important, because they the Tesla coils that activate the energy grid of the earth to make her flip back right side up out of the upside down. They had us in the upside down backwards reality. And they played it against us because it'll make us more compliant with their control system.
Yeah.
Right. Once I understood how it worked, now I can unravel the secrets and tell y'all what the shit is. And then every time they click, a motherfucker become aware that's less control they got over us.
Yeah, the vibration rising. You're right.
Yeah.
And anybody who just use common sense, you know it got to be somewhere in Antarctica, because you're not allowed to go down there. You know what I'm saying? And then Admiral Byrd, he already told you what he seen down there. And they already said that Hitler ran down there and they tried to get Hitler, but they say he went like under Earth and in Earth or something like that. So you know
Hitler
it's
went
something
to
about it.
Venezuela. Watch Boys from Brazil. That's the Hitler story. That's what he did. He went to go clone him some sons. He wanted to raise sons to be just like him.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that in one of your lectures. You were saying the boys in
Yeah.
Brazil.
So he started using what's this, Mengele psychology adaptations in child rearing to mold the character of the child to be the way of a certain parent, right?
Oh, okay.
And so they used the cloning techniques that they had learned from contact with extraterrestrial agents. And then they learned how to use the conjure to tell the rest of the clans what's going on the land while they was doing what they was doing.
Yeah, cause they had some type of channeler later or something like that too. Don't know. I forgot her name. They were saying some lady was channeling for them.
I know you talk about too, Madame Blavatsky.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That I was like, that's crazy, but you know it's something deep about Hitler, because, like you say, anything the USA telling you, you got to think opposite.
They was students under Madame Blavatsky. She the one gave them the knowledge to set up the Thule Society.
What's exactly the Thule Society?
It's a secret society set up by Hitler and them over in Nazi Germany. It was something like Theosophy, or like Thelema from Crowley. But it's all that shit came out of the hieroglyphs, and they was using it as tools of oppression to oppress us, the people that wrote it. And if we don't never try to figure out what's going on, we won't never figure out the problem, because they using something we wrote against us. We wrote it in hieroglyphics, they translated it and used it against us. And then they brought some shit out of Babylon, money magic and blood magic, to fuck us up worse.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
Like
All
like
right,
you.
money. I'm about to get ready to wrap this one up. I'm about ready to lay my tail down.
Oh, okay then. I appreciate talking to you, man. I'm gonna
All
stay
right.
connected with you.
It was
It was
good
nice
talking to
talking
you
to you,
too.
bro.
Yeah.
Okay
Appreciate you
then.
coming in.
Okay then.
All right.
All right.
Okay. We got some questions in here. Um, Larry ain't gonna die in prison because he already out. If you watch how I deal with people that's coming in from hostile to understanding, that's how you weed the opposition out. Ain't no understanding in the opposition. Well, our people will ask their questions, and if your answer makes sense, they will adjust to the answer. Fairkind is right now the a mediator between the Dirty Moors and our chiefs, because I asked him to. So appreciate y'all for coming to sit in and listen to me chitter chat with a little tribal talk for a while. Peace to the guys, nurse, and we at it again on the next go round. Depending on what Big Mama say. Peace out, fam.